Hi there. Welcome to this recording all about Zotero. Zotero is badged as a personal research assistant, and I'm hoping that you'll get a lot out of this video today. To introduce myself first, I'm Mark. I'm the research librarian at Cardiff Met. You can always reach me on Teams and also at my email address there if you ever want to talk through what I'm talking about right now or anything else to do with research at Cardiff Met. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about why choose Zotero as a personal research assistant, how it works, and how it connects. So firstly, why choose Zotero? Why bother with it? Well, one of the reasons is mostly because it's free and it's accessible across any browser and platform you may choose to use. It helps you organize your literature and readings, but also your ideas and your writings. And it has a very important feature in terms of importing bibliographic information into essays and theses. So say if you're doing a piece of writing, you can use Zotero to organize, do your reading, and then also import that information that you've generated into a piece of work. I'll show you and tell you a little bit about that a little bit further on how that all works. There's a few more reasons to choose Zotero. One of them is you can sign up for a free account and you have a certain amount of free storage that goes with it, up to 300 megabytes. It's browser based and downloadable, so you can do both. It's easy to navigate and it has extensive features, as I'm hopefully be able to see from this video. And you can keep on using it after you hand in. So by using Zotero as you go through your studies, as you go through your research, you can then keep hold of that information you've generated, keep hold of those PDFs that you've generated, keep hold of that general work that you've generated by using Zotero after you leave Cardiff Met, for instance. That's always a good thing. So how it works. So Zotero works based on a folder structure. So that's where you can theme or sub-theme as you see fit. So you could, for instance, do chapters, sections, general themes, depending on what you want to do. You can utilize the metadata that is the information about the stuff that you are adding into Zotero. I'll show you how to do that as well in this demo. You can tag entries to help you with searching and pattern forming. Again, pattern forming for the basis of what you've read, what you need to read, what's not good, what's good, what you can include in your work. And on top of that, you can add notes and annotations. And you can also link it back to OneDrive or a cloud storage of your choice. And again, I'll go through that in the demo. So some top tips before we get into the demo itself. Starting any time within the writing process is always good with a tool like Zotero. Earlier is better, but starting at any point would be quite good. That's because you can make it to fit your own workflow. So you can use as many features as you want with it, or as little. You can just use it as a big list, depending on what you want to do. And you don't necessarily have to go beyond the free storage that's offered, because you can link it out to cloud storage again, as I'll demo in a moment. But also 300 megabytes is quite large for a series of files, so you may find that you can put PDFs into Zotero itself. And fourthly, you can one of the top tips with it is you can explore and really go beyond the first level basics of it. And I'm going to go beyond the first level, I should say, in my demo in a moment. So we're going to take a look at some of the key features. You can follow along in the video if you like by signing up at zotero.org for your own account. And in any case, here we go. I'm going to come out of my slides now and go straight into the demo. I'm using the browser-based version here, as you can probably see. I'm just going to get rid of my bookmarks because they're a slight distraction. And I'm going to go back to the main homepage of Zotero at zotero.org just to outline a couple of things here. At this point, you can download a version for Mac and for Windows. And that's quite crucial because having a version running in the background on your desktop does open up other features as well. And you get a nice overview as well of what you can do with Zotero. It explains that you can use a browser extension to, as it says there, collect with a click. So collect information as you're moving around the internet. and you can organize it, and you can cite as well. And it tells you a little bit of information about how to collaborate and how to stay in sync. Zotero itself on its own website has very, very good documentation in terms of how it works, FAQs, that sort of thing, and forums as well, where you can find answers. But also, as a person, I'm also available to help answer questions and chat through anything with Zotero itself, because I personally use this in my own research that I do. So here we go. Let's explain what is happening within the actual software. I tend to refer to this as having 3 panes. So this is the first pane on the left, the middle pane here, and the right-hand pane on the side. The left-hand pane is all about the organizational basis for Zotero. So here you have where you can introduce folders and where you can introduce tags. The middle is all about the importing and organizing the information that you're importing into Zotero. I'll demonstrate how to import in a moment. And this right-hand side comes into play when we do the importing. So let's get on with that first. So you can do it in 2 ways. You can use the new item plus button up here. You can choose something from the menu. I'm choosing journal article here, and it opens up this right-hand pane. And this right-hand pane is all about metadata, or that bibliographic information that I referred to a little bit in my slides a moment ago. Now, we don't necessarily want to be entering loads and loads of information ourselves, because we don't need to. It's quite laborious. It's very, very painful to do. So luckily, Zotero has a lovely feature where you can not do this yourself, and you can import the information in quite a nice standard format and in a way that will make sense to, well, really anybody that's using the software. So I'm going to do this via the DOI. Now, on any kind of journal article like this example I've got here, really most book chapters now, and indeed most books, in terms of academic books and academic book chapters, all have a DOI that's attached to them. What we mean by attached is that it displays somewhere quite prominently on the main article page, like this one, right at the top. It's either at the top or it's sometimes towards the bottom of the article. So it might be after the references, for instance, that are listed here on the page. But in any case, it's usually a thing that you can find quite quickly. And with Zotero, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to make sure I've copied it properly. There we go. And I'm going to go back to Zotero and use this thing up here, which is called Add by Identifier in the tooltip that's showing up. But it's actually a magic wand, and it literally is a magic wand. You can probably see the magic that's around it at the top there. And all I need to do here is just paste in the DOI. And what that's going to do is magically and automatically bring across all the information that I need about this article. So it's giving me the title, it's giving me the authors, it's giving me some volume, issue numbers, pages, all that sort of thing that I need to use to cite it within a document, or within a paper, or indeed within a final dissertation. So it's always useful to take a look through it just to make sure that you've got all the right sort of information, because you can change this, you can add more in, but also useful just to see that you've got the abstract as well, just so you've got that sort of full set of information in there. I'm going to now go and import a few more things into here, just so I generate a nice list for myself. So let's do that. So I've imported something here again from this journal article, and I can see it's given me all the right information, but it hasn't given me an abstract. But luckily, I can just go grab that information from the journal itself. I'm just going to post that in. And what that's going to do now is give me the abstract from the page, so I can find out a little bit more information about what this is. So it's not quite a random entry into my list. I'm going to also bring in a couple of websites, because you can do URLs as well. So you don't necessarily have to use just the DOI. You can bring in the URL. So I'm bringing in that one, and I'm going to bring in this one as well. So what I have here are a couple of websites, which is giving me the right sort of information. It's giving me an author, if there is one. It's giving me the title of the website. It's giving me a little bit of information about what it is. And that's if it's present within the website itself. This bit is present within there. And also there's a little bit of information for this one. So as you can see in the bottom right there, that's brought it across. So that's telling me what it is. So I know, pretty much I know what to do. And then also, obviously, because it's a URL, it's also giving me a link here where I can click back out to it in the future. So I don't have to have it all saved in various different places. I could just save it here so I know I can go back. Crucially, it's also giving me an access date, which is very useful if you're going to cite a website within a document. As you probably know, when you need to cite something, you need to put in an accessed on date within there. So that's going to give me that automatically, which is really nice. Now that I've got some things within my library here in the center pane, I can start adding some folders. So I'm going to add a couple of different folders. I can spell it right into the under my library here. I'm going to be very imaginative and call it new folder 1 and new folder 2. Rename that one new folder 1. And I'm just going to add in a couple of sub-collections. You can go into a lot of detail with these sub-collections as you choose, again, to fit your own workflow, to fit your own patterns of how you want to do things. Okay, new folder 2. And that's really a nice thing because, again, you can sort of organize it around as well. You can move it about if you want to. You can drag and drop things. And that's nice for that kind of, again, it fits into your pattern of how you want to do things. You could use this for chapters in your final thesis, for instance, or you could use it as sections for a written part of an update document or any kind of publication that you may be wanting to do from your work as well, potentially. What I'm going to do is just demonstrate also now that you can just drag and drop these into different folders. So as you can see here under my library, I've got a list of 4 things, but imagine my own that I don't use for this demo, but my own, it has around about a couple of thousand items within here because I've organized things into different folders. So you can imagine this center pane under my library could get quite unwieldy quite quickly, which we don't want. We want to be organized and we want to be organized. So what I really tend to do is I tend to organize things as I add them to Zotero. It adds the latest thing added goes to the top in terms of the latest thing you add via the magic wand. And then I organize things as I go. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drag and drop just to demonstrate that it all sort of works quite nicely. I'm just dragging and dropping a few things in. And as you can see there, in new folder 1, I've got that and that I've got in there, and I've got those 2 things in new folder 2. But I can go back and see the full list if I want to. And then obviously I can do things like sort the list in terms of title, in terms of sort the list in terms of the where it comes from, if it's a website, if it's a journal article, I can sort by a date. If I've got dates, I can sort by creators if I know who the authors are. And then I can start to use the search box as well in terms of searching for particular things if I know what I'm looking for. But again, it's always worthwhile bringing things in, like I said, and then organizing because you'll get on with it a lot better, a lot quicker. I'm going to use this example now to show you what happens and what you can do on the right-hand side. So on the right-hand side is where you can go into more detail about what you've got here and use the functionality that exists. So this is sort of going beyond that first level. This is going into more sort of detail about what you can do. I'm going to use just the notepad here just to put in a note to myself. I'm going to use page 4, quote, whatever the quote would be. Cite this in section 4. As an example, you can add in sort of as many detailed notes as you want, and that's the nice thing about it in a way. If you don't want to do that sort of thing, you don't have to. You can still use the other features, but if you do want to go into more in depth, you can also, because you can add more and more notes as you go. And that's the lovely thing about using Zotero. It's nice and open-ended. You don't have to do specific things. You don't have to follow specific tracks. You've also got the tag feature within here. And remember, the tags show up in the bottom left. At the moment, I don't have any tags. So I'm just going to add a couple of tags here. I'm going to just put in, I'm going to be very unimaginative and put in good article and cite. And I'll show you how all that works connected in a minute. You can also add the file as an attachment. So I could, if I wanted to, download this PDF, or I could just access the HTML, depending on what I want to do, because it's open access. So I could add the file there, but I could also add a linked URL, so that can go to a different place where the file is stored. So again, I could actually just link back to the website here. But what I normally do is I normally use a cloud-based storage because I utilize OneDrive from Cardiff Met from our IT department because it's 1 terabyte of storage. It's free. I know exactly that it's going to work. I know that it's going to be backed up. I know that it's secure. I know that I can get the PDFs out of there if I want to. So if I want to go in and download all my files I've got on here in my folders, I can do that whenever I want to. So that's why I use it. And it's always suggestible to think about that sort of storage as well when you're doing your own work. What I'm going to do though is, as with anything in OneDrive, it gives you a nice big long indecipherable URL there. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm just going to go to linked data, linked URL here. Apologies. I'm going to pop the link in, and I'm just going to put in link to article as a title. You don't have to put in a title into this. I just like to do it so I know what the link actually is. And then we've got a nice thing there that says link to article, and I can click on that and it takes me straight back out to the article itself there. So I can go and take a look at it there. I can go and make my notes. I can go and add my annotations, whatever I need to do. I got it linked. So that is, we're pretty much nearly at the end of the demo. One thing I would note around this is that, again, you can add in any extra information that you want into here. You can also change it. So if you do spot, for instance, let's say on this one, it's missing, what is it missing? It's missing something, and I haven't spotted what it's missing. Oh yeah, the date here. The date's giving me a bit of a, I don't want the, say for instance, I don't necessarily want the month in there because it doesn't really matter. So I can just go in and delete that. Move that down to 2019. Excellent. So I've got the right information that's set there. I can match it from there to there. So that's good. I know exactly what's happening then with this article. I'm going to add in a few more tags to a few more places, just so I can demonstrate. This one isn't a bad article, by the way. It's a good one. It's just, I'm going to demonstrate how you can just quite quickly bring in a couple of things to organize what you've got here. So again, because you've added tags into there, you've got the tags in the bottom left, and now you can just start using those to sift through things. I've got a cite one here because I know I want to cite this in something. So I can click on my cite tag to go, right, these are the ones I'm citing. These are the ones I need to include in my bibliography, for instance, or I need to make sure that I've actually cited these properly. So again, you can kind of move yourself around a little bit, and you can give the tags whatever you want. So you can make it work for your own workflow and your own pattern of how you want to do things. So I'm going to deselect all those now, just to go back. I'm back at the main screen now, my library, and that's it. That's the end of the demo. As I mentioned, Zotero has quite extensive help guidance on the website there. Download the version for your desktop as well, because that opens up very, very good features in terms of how it integrates with things like Microsoft Word and Google Docs. And please do get in touch at any time. I'm going to put my details back on the screen to finish off. So that's me. So I'm Mark. Thank you very much for listening. Please do get in touch via the email address there if you want to, or on Teams. Just hit me up on there. I'm always available. I say always available most of the time to have a chat about this. So if you need any further assistance, do please get in touch. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate your time, and best wishes and good luck. Thanks very much.